Grace. How dare you, Daniel? How dare you come back into this house and sit at this table like nothing happened? Lower your voice. Why are you shouting? I just got back from work. Work? Is that what you call it now? Meeting your mistress while your wife waits at home like a fool? Grace, you're misunderstanding things. Misunderstanding? After everything I saw with my own eyes? After all the lies you fed me? You're overreacting. Let's just calm down and talk about this. No, Daniel. Tonight we are not talking. Tonight you are eating. Eating? Yes. Sit down and eat the food on that table. I prepared it specially for you. Grace, why are you looking at me like that? Because tonight you will finally taste the pain you served me for months. You're scaring me now. Good. Maybe now you'll understand what betrayal feels like. Grace, what did you put in this food? Grace, eat it first, Daniel. After all, you always loved my cooking. Welcome to Poison in the Pot, A Wife's Revenge. Sit down, relax, and watch this shocking story unfold until the very end. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share this story with your friends, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your support keeps these powerful stories coming. Henry, what are you doing with that bottle? Vivian's voice cut through the kitchen like a whip. Her eyes were sharp, scanning her husband's every movement. Henry froze, holding a dark bottle in one hand, a sly smirk on his face. Relax, Viv. It's just for the stew, he said casually, as if hiding something was effortless for him. Vivian's brow furrowed. You've been acting strange all week. Don't lie to me. Henry chuckled, leaning against the counter. Strange? Me? You're imagining things. Vivian's fists clenched at her sides. I saw the messages on your phone, Henry. Don't bother denying it. I know about her. Henry's smile faltered. His eyes darkened, a mix of irritation and fear. Viv, you don't understand. It's not what it looks like. Vivian laughed bitterly. Not what it looks like? Henry, you've been sneaking around with her for months, while I cooked, cleaned, and supported your entire career. Henry took a step forward, trying to reach her. Viv, calm down. But she slammed her hand on the counter. Don't come near me. The kitchen fell into tense silence. Outside, the rain began tapping against the windows. The storm mirrored the storm inside her heart. Vivian's gaze drifted toward the pot simmering on the stove. The aroma of the stew filled the room, warm, enticing, but something cold and deadly lingered beneath it. Henry noticed her stare. What are you thinking? He asked, his tone sharp. Vivian stepped closer to him, her eyes blazing. I'm thinking about the consequences of betrayal, about revenge, about making sure you never hurt me or anyone I care about ever again. Henry's lips parted in disbelief. Viv, don't. But she didn't need to finish. She already had her plan. The doorbell rang suddenly. Both of them jumped. Henry frowned. Who could that be at this hour? Vivian didn't answer. Her mind was already racing. She knew exactly who she wanted to see. Him. The man who had convinced her to trust him while crushing her heart. Henry hesitated at the door. Viv, wait. But it was too late. She had already moved past him, a quiet, deadly calm in her steps. Open it, she said softly, almost a whisper. Henry's hands trembled as he reached for the doorknob. A tall, confident man stood outside, drenched in rain. His dark eyes locked on Vivian. Vivian, I heard about what happened tonight, he said, a hint of admiration in his tone. I thought you might need some assistance. Vivian's lips curled into a small, cold smile. Assistance, she echoed. Yes, I think I do. Inside, the stew continued to simmer. The aroma was irresistible. Henry didn't know that tonight. Every bite, every sip could mark the beginning of his end. And as the storm raged outside, Vivian made a silent promise. Betrayal would not go unpunished. The rain outside grew heavier, hammering against the windows like a drum of warning. Inside the mansion, the kitchen smelled of herbs, simmering meat, and something far more dangerous that only Vivian knew. Henry paced back and forth, running his hands through his damp hair. His eyes flickered nervously toward the stew pot. Viv, you're being ridiculous, he muttered, though his voice betrayed uncertainty. I didn't do anything tonight. Why are you acting like this? Vivian leaned against the counter, arms crossed. Her dark eyes glimmered with quiet fire. Didn't do anything? She repeated slowly. Henry, I've seen your texts. I've seen her face in your messages. And yet, you come home, smiling as if nothing has changed. Henry froze, gulping. Viv, it wasn't it's complicated. Vivienne stepped closer, her presence commanding the room. Complicated? You mean convenient for you. You've been living two lives while I trusted you with everything. My love, my home, my heart. Henry swallowed hard. There was no escape from the truth in her voice. The simmering pot behind her seemed to mock him with its innocent aroma. Vivienne, what are you trying to do? He asked cautiously, backing away. She smiled faintly, almost kindly, but there was an icy edge to it. Henry, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm simply letting consequences catch up to you. The rain outside intensified. Thunder cracked overhead, as if the storm itself approved her plan. Henry's hands shook slightly as he reached for a glass of water. His eyes darted nervously between the pot and Vivienne. Viv, you're scaring me, he admitted. Vivienne's smile widened, revealing the faintest hint of satisfaction. Good. Fear is very telling, Henry. It tells me a lot about who you really are. A sudden knock at the door startled both of them. Henry jumped. Who the hell? Vivienne walked calmly to the door, ignoring his panic. She opened it to reveal a man standing drenched in rain, his dark skin gleaming under the porch light. He exuded confidence and danger in equal measure. Vivienne, the man said smoothly, I heard about your little situation. Thought you might want help. Vivienne's lips curved into a small, cold smile. Yes, I think I do. Henry's face went pale. Viv, who is this? Someone who knows about betrayal, she said softly, stepping aside to let the man in. The three of them moved into the living room. Henry could feel the tension like a physical force pressing against his chest. Every shadow seemed to whisper threats. Vivienne gestured toward the kitchen. The stew's almost ready, she said casually. Henry, why don't you taste it? Henry glanced nervously at the pot. His instincts screamed to run, to leave. But pride and ignorance kept him rooted. Taste it? He repeated, voice tight. You made it? Vivienne's eyes locked on his. Yes, I made it, for you, because I love you, and because you need to understand just how bitter betrayal can be. Henry swallowed hard and lifted the spoon with trembling hands. He hesitated. The aroma was rich, irresistible, but a chill ran down his spine. Go on, Vivienne said softly. Taste it. Don't be afraid. The first bite went into his mouth. His eyes widened, expecting the warmth of a familiar dinner. But instead, a strange bitterness lingered. Just a hint, but enough to make him cough and recoil. What is this? He asked nervously. Vivienne smiled faintly. Just the first taste, Henry. A reminder that actions have consequences, that deceit has a flavor. Henry's face went pale as the bitter taste spread. He tried to laugh it off, but his hands shook. This isn't funny, he stammered. Vivienne's companion leaned forward, his dark eyes piercing. Henry, he said calmly, you've been warned. Betrayal has a price. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from upstairs. Glass shattered, and the sound of footsteps running through the hallway made Henry spin around in panic. Who's there? He shouted. Vivienne didn't flinch. Relax, Henry, she said, voice silky but deadly. That is just part of the lesson. Henry stumbled back toward the living room couch, sweat rolling down his face. This is insane. Vivienne leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. Insane? No, Henry. This is justice, and by the end of tonight, you will understand that. The storm outside raged harder, lightning flashing through the windows. It illuminated the fear in Henry's eyes, the calm fury in Vivienne's, and the dark, calculating expression of the stranger who had just entered her home. And in the kitchen, the stew continued to simmer, its deadly secret waiting silently for the next move. Henry sat on the edge of the living room couch, his fingers gripping the armrest as if it could anchor him to sanity. The storm outside rattled the mansion windows, thunder rolling like an omen of the night's unfolding horrors. Vivienne watched him calmly from across the room, arms folded. Her expression was serene, almost innocent, but her dark eyes glimmered with a cold fire. You're trembling, she observed softly. I'm fine, Henry stammered, though his lips quivered. You're imagining things. Vivienne stepped closer, the faint aroma of her perfume mixing with the still simmering stew. Am I imagining things, Henry, or are you finally tasting the consequences of your betrayal? Henry's throat tightened. He swallowed hard, his mind racing. Could she really have? No, it couldn't be. Viv, this isn't a game, he said, trying to sound authoritative, but the edge in his voice betrayed him. She smiled faintly, almost like a predator observing its prey. Game? Oh, Henry, everything is a game until someone loses, and tonight, someone will. The stranger who had arrived earlier, tall, broad-shouldered, his skin dark and gleaming under the dim light, stepped forward. His eyes locked onto Henry's with a piercing intensity. "You've been careless," he said softly, almost a whisper, but every word struck Henry like a hammer. "And careless men, they get punished." Henry's pulse raced. "Who are you?" he asked, voice trembling. Vivian's lips curved in a faint, cruel smile. "Someone who understands betrayal, and how to fix it." Henry's gaze darted toward the kitchen. The stew was still simmering, a faint, almost imperceptible steam rising. He tried to ignore it, but every nerve in his body screamed danger. You put something in that pot, didn't you?" Henry finally blurted out, his hands trembling. Vivian leaned closer, her voice soft but deadly. "Henry, this stew isn't just food. It's a mirror, a reflection of your sins, every lie you've told, every betrayal, it's all in there." Henry recoiled, his mind spinning. I didn't know it would go this far." She shook her head slowly. "Oh, but you did. Every step you took, every secret text, every late night, you knew deep down that one day the consequences would find you." The stranger moved to the kitchen door, his presence looming. "Henry, don't pretend you're in control. You're not." Henry's hands flew to his head. What do you want from me?" Vivian's eyes glittered like polished obsidian. "I want justice." Henry's face turned pale as realization dawned. You're going to kill me." Vivian shook her head slowly, almost mockingly. "Kill you? Oh no, that would be too easy. No, Henry, I want you to feel it first. The fear, the regret, the knowledge that you can't undo what you've done." Henry's legs wobbled and he sank to the floor. He stared at the stew pot, at the shadows in the kitchen, at Vivian. Every nerve screamed for him to flee, but the storm outside made escape impossible. Vivian crouched down in front of him, her dark eyes locking onto his. "Take another bite, Henry," she whispered. "Taste the truth." Henry hesitated, terror coursing through him. He wanted to run, to throw the pot away, but something primal, some twisted compulsion, kept him rooted in place. He picked up the spoon with shaking hands. The smell of the stew was intoxicating, familiar, comforting even, but beneath it there was something different. Something sharp, bitter, deadly. He brought it to his lips. Just as the first taste hit his tongue, a sudden crash echoed from upstairs. Henry jerked his head toward the sound. Vivian didn't flinch. She didn't even blink. "That's just another reminder," she said softly, "that nothing is as safe as it seems. Not your house, not your marriage, not your life." Henry's eyes widened. Who's there?" The stranger in the kitchen doorway smirked. "You don't need to know. All you need to know is that the consequences are here, and they're real." Suddenly a shadow moved in the corner of the living room. Henry spun, heart pounding. He saw a figure, his colleague, someone he trusted, standing silently, watching. "Henry," the figure said calmly, "you've been warned. You've been careless." Henry stumbled back, nearly falling. "I don't understand." Vivian's eyes softened for just a fraction of a second. "You will, Henry. You will understand when it's too late." He looked at her, desperation in his eyes. "Viv, please, don't do this. I can fix it. I can make it right." Her lips curved into a faint, icy smile. "You can't fix this, Henry. You can't undo betrayal. You can't undo the pain you caused me. All you can do is face it." The rain outside turned into a torrential downpour. Thunder cracked overhead, shaking the mansion walls. The wind howled, rattling windows and doors. It felt as if the storm itself was conspiring with Vivian. Henry's hands shook as he took another spoonful. The bitter taste burned his tongue, sending chills down his spine. His body began to tremble uncontrollably. You're poisoning me," he gasped, panic rising in his eyes. Vivian shook her head slowly. "Not yet, Henry. Not yet. I want you to understand the fear, to understand regret, and to understand what it feels like when the person you betrayed becomes the one holding power over you." Henry sank to his knees, shaking, tears streaming down his face. This isn't fair." Vivian knelt beside him, dark eyes piercing his soul. "No, Henry, life isn't fair, and betrayal is the deadliest injustice of all." A sudden knock on the front door echoed through the mansion. Both Henry and Vivian froze. The stranger's eyes glinted with amusement. Who now?" Henry whispered, trembling. Vivian's lips curled into a faint, terrifying smile. "Let's find out, shall we?" The mansion groaned under the storm outside. Wind rattled the windows, lightning flashed across the darkened sky, and thunder shook the walls like a warning drum. Inside, the tension was thick enough to choke a man. Henry's knees were on the polished floor, trembling, as he stared at the pot on the stove. The rich aroma of the stew mocked him, its warmth a cruel contrast to the icy terror coursing through his veins. Vivienne stood nearby, serene, deadly, her dark skin glistening in the flickering candlelight. Her eyes never left him. She looked like a queen watching a doomed king. "Henry," she said softly, voice almost hypnotic. "Do you understand now? Every choice, every lie, every betrayal, it all leads here, to this moment." Henry shook his head violently. "No, I didn't know it would go this far." Vivienne's smile didn't waver. "No? Or you didn't care?" The stranger in the doorway stepped forward, casting a long shadow across the floor. "You've been living a life of privilege and lies, Henry," he said quietly. "And tonight, all of that comes to an end." Henry's eyes darted around the room. Fear clawed at him. You can't do this. I'm your husband. I can make it right." Vivienne shook her head, leaning closer, her perfume mixing with the simmering stew. "No, Henry, you cannot. You've already broken me. You've already destroyed our life. There's nothing left to fix. Only punishment." A sudden crash upstairs made Henry jump. The sound of shattering glass reverberated through the mansion. "Who's there?" Henry shouted, his voice trembling. Vivienne didn't respond. Instead, she walked calmly toward the kitchen, her footsteps silent against the marble floor. "Consider that a warning," she said over her shoulder. Henry's mind raced. Something terrible was happening, and he was powerless to stop it. He looked at the stew pot, then back at her. "Viv, what is this? Poison? You're serious?" Vivienne's dark eyes locked onto his. "Serious, Henry? I have never been more serious in my life. This isn't about anger. This is about justice. And tonight, you will understand." The stranger stepped closer. "You've underestimated her, Henry. She's not just your wife. She's a force you cannot escape." Henry backed away, stumbling over a rug. He tripped, crashing to the floor. His heart pounded like a drum in his chest. Panic and regret twisted together in a bitter cocktail. Vivienne knelt down beside him, voice calm, hypnotic. "Henry, do you feel it? The fear? The regret? This is what betrayal tastes like. Every lie you told, every secret affair, every stolen moment, it all comes back to you." Henry's hands shook. "Viv, please, I can change. I can make it right. I swear." Vivienne's smile turned icy, cruel. "Too late, Henry. Change doesn't erase pain. It doesn't erase betrayal. Only consequences do that. And tonight, you're going to learn them the hard way." Suddenly, a scream erupted from the upstairs hallway. It was loud, piercing, horrifying. Henry jumped to his feet. "Viv, what is happening?" Vivienne's eyes sparkled with dark satisfaction. "That is the first taste of fear, the first reminder that nothing is safe. Nothing. Not your family, not your house, not even your life." Henry's mind was spinning. Sweat ran down his face. His pulse thundered in his ears. He wanted to run, to escape, but the storm outside and the darkness within the mansion trapped him. Vivienne rose slowly, towering over him. "Sit," she commanded softly. "Taste it again. You need to understand. Every bite brings you closer to truth." Henry hesitated, staring at the simmering stew. The bitter taste of the first bite still lingered on his tongue, a warning he could not ignore. Yet some part of him, pride, ignorance, desperation, kept him from refusing. He lifted the spoon with trembling hands. The first bite had been bitter. The second was worse. It burned, sharp, like regret crystallized into flavor. His stomach turned, his vision blurred. You're killing me," he gasped, panic clawing at his throat. Vivienne shook her head slowly. "Not yet. I'm teaching you, Henry. Teaching you the price of betrayal. Teaching you the pain you've caused me. Tonight, you'll feel every second of it." The storm outside raged harder. Lightning lit up the mansion, casting long, jagged shadows across the walls. Thunder rattled the chandeliers above, and the wind howled like the cries of the betrayed. Henry sank to his knees, gasping, tears running down his face. This isn't fair." Vivienne knelt beside him again, her voice soft but deadly. "No, Henry, life isn't fair. Betrayal is the deadliest injustice of all, and tonight you'll see that firsthand." Another loud crash came from the upstairs hallway. This time Henry saw movement, shadowy figures darting between the rooms. Panic consumed him. Vivienne's lips curved into a faint, terrifying smile. "Your world is unraveling, Henry, and the stew is only the beginning." Henry clutched his head, sobbing. Fear, regret, and the bitter taste of betrayal burned into him like fire. And upstairs, someone or something was waiting. watching, waiting for the next move in this deadly, twisted game. Henry's knees dug into the cold marble floor as the bitter taste of the stew lingered on his tongue. Every nerve in his body screamed danger. His mind raced, but no escape seemed possible. Vivienne stood over him, calm, poised, every inch of her a predator savoring the moment before the kill. Her dark skin glistened in the flickering candlelight, her eyes, cold and brilliant, locked onto his. "You're trembling, Henry," she said softly, voice almost tender, but there was a deadly edge. "Do you feel it? The fear? That tightness in your chest? That's the price of betrayal. That's the taste of revenge." Henry's lips quivered. "Viv, please, I didn't mean to." "Silence," Vivienne interrupted, her hand flicking like a whip. "Do you hear that?" Henry froze. From upstairs, a scream ripped through the mansion. Harsh, guttural, terrifying. It echoed against the walls and rattled the chandeliers. Henry stumbled to his feet. Who is it?" he yelled, panic consuming him. Vivienne didn't flinch. She walked slowly to the staircase, her movements fluid, almost hypnotic. "That is the first reminder that no one is safe. Not you. Not your secrets. Not your life." The stranger, who had been lurking in the corner, stepped closer to Henry. His tall frame blocked any chance of retreat. "You've underestimated her, Henry," he said calmly, "and you've underestimated what it means to betray someone who has nothing left to lose." Henry's heart pounded. I can fix it. Please, I can make it right." Vivienne's smile was cruel, a predator savoring its prey. "Fix it? Henry, it's too late for that. Too late to undo lies, too late to undo betrayal. All you can do is feel and learn the consequences." Suddenly, another crash came from upstairs, louder this time. Henry's knees buckled under him. His eyes darted toward the stairs, his entire body trembling. Vivienne leaned closer. "Do you know what the worst part is, Henry?" she whispered, her breath hot against his ear. "You never saw this coming. You never expected the calm woman you betrayed to become the storm." Henry shuddered violently, gripping his hair. "Viv, please, stop. I'll do anything. Just don't." Vivienne's eyes glittered like obsidian. "Stop? No, Henry. You need to feel every second of regret, every moment of fear. That is the justice you deserve." The stranger stepped closer to the stove. "You're playing with fire, Henry," he said, voice low, "and fire consumes." Henry's vision blurred. Sweat poured down his face. He looked at the stew, at Vivienne, at the shadowy figure looming behind her. Panic, guilt, and terror churned together in his chest. "Viv, I can't take it," he whispered, voice breaking. Vivienne crouched beside him, her dark eyes piercing his soul. "You can take it, Henry. You have no choice. Every bite of that stew, every moment of this night is a lesson. And by the end of it, you will understand that betrayal is not forgotten, it is repaid." A sudden movement upstairs caught Henry's attention. A shadow darted across the landing, another crash. The sound of footsteps, running, relentless. Henry staggered backward, almost falling, heart pounding. Who's there?" Vivienne's smile was ice cold. "That is your past coming to claim you. Every secret, every lie, it's all catching up." The rain outside pounded harder, thunder crashing like cannon fire. The storm seemed to seep into the mansion, matching the chaos inside. Henry dropped to his knees again, trembling violently. Tears streaked his face. This isn't real. It can't be real." Vivienne knelt beside him. "Oh, it's real, Henry. Every bit of it, every lie, every betrayal, every hurtful act, it's all real, and to pay the price." A sudden scream erupted from the kitchen, right? Henry's head whipped around. The pot was overturned, red liquid spilling across the floor. His mind reeled. Vivienne's eyes glimmered with dark satisfaction. "Look closely, Henry. See the chaos you've caused? See what happens when lies and betrayal are left unchecked." Henry stumbled toward the door, desperate to escape, but the stranger blocked him again. "Where do you think you're going?" the man said softly. "You can't escape what's coming." Henry fell to the floor, shaking, hyperventilating. "Viv, please, don't." Vivienne's lips curved into a faint, merciless smile. "Oh, Henry, this is only the beginning. By the end of tonight, you'll understand exactly what betrayal tastes like. And it's bitter, Henry, so bitter." The storm outside raged harder. Lightning flashed, illuminating the fear in Henry's eyes and the deadly calm in Vivienne's. The house seemed alive, each shadow a threat, each sound a warning. And in the kitchen, the stew continued to simmer, deadly, patient, a silent witness to the unfolding nightmare. The mansion groaned under the storm outside, each crack of thunder a reminder of the chaos unfolding inside. Rain hammered against the windows, blurring the outside world into a swirling gray haze. Inside, Henry's world had already collapsed. He was slumped on the floor, shaking violently, every nerve screaming in panic. His mind replayed every betrayal he had committed, the lies, the affairs, the stolen money, the broken promises. And now, he faced Vivienne, calm, unyielding, every inch of her radiating control and menace. Vivienne stood near the stove, arms crossed, her eyes dark and unblinking. The simmering stew on the pot seemed to mirror her patience, deadly, deliberate, unstoppable. "Henry," she said softly, her voice almost tender, yet every word cut like a blade. "Do you feel it yet? The fear, the regret, the powerlessness? This is what betrayal costs." Henry trembled violently, looking at her with wide, desperate eyes. "Viv, please, I can fix it." "I'll do anything. Just don't. Please don't." Vivienne's lips curved into a faint, cruel smile. "Anything? Henry, you had your chance to be honest. You had your chance to love me, to respect me, to honor our marriage. And you chose betrayal, and now you pay." The stranger in the doorway stepped closer, casting a long shadow across the marble floor. "You've been warned, Henry," he said quietly, "but you still don't understand the depth of her planning. This isn't impulsive. This is carefully calculated." Henry's eyes darted around the room, looking for escape. The front door, the windows, everything was locked, sealed by the storm. Panic gripped him like a vice. What do you want from me?" he whispered, voice breaking. Vivienne leaned down so her face was inches from his. "Want? I want justice. I want fear. I want you to understand what it feels like to be powerless, to be betrayed, to watch your life unravel because of your own mistakes." Suddenly, a loud crash came from upstairs. Henry's head whipped toward the sound. The mansion felt alive, each shadow moving, each sound a threat. "What? Who is there?" Henry shouted, his voice cracking. Vivienne's eyes glimmered with satisfaction. "That is your past catching up to you. Every lie, every stolen moment, every betrayal, it's all coming back." Henry staggered backward, nearly tripping over a rug. Sweat poured down his face. "Viv, I didn't mean it. I can fix everything. Just don't hurt anyone else." Vivienne shook her head slowly, her expression unreadable. "You've had your chance, Henry. There is no fixing this. Only consequences. Only fear. Only justice." The stranger moved closer to the stove, glancing at the simmering stew. "Look at it," he said quietly. "Every ingredient, every simmer, every moment reflects what's coming. You can't escape it." Henry's mind raced. Every step he had taken, every betrayal he'd committed, every lie, it all led to this night. He sank to his knees, sobbing. "Viv, please, mercy, I'll do anything." Vivienne crouched beside him, dark eyes piercing his soul. "Mercy, Henry, mercy is for the innocent, for the faithful, for the loyal. You had loyalty, you had love, you had truth, and you threw it all away. Now you feel the weight of your choices." Suddenly another sound came from upstairs, a creak, then a footstep, then silence. Henry froze. "Viv, what's happening?" he whispered. Vivienne smiled faintly, almost imperceptibly. "Patience, Henry, the night is far from over, and your lessons have only begun." Henry's heart raced, sweat dripping down his face. Fear, panic, and regret churned in his chest. He realized this was more than revenge. This was a meticulously crafted nightmare. Every detail, every movement, every sound designed to break him. Vivienne rose slowly, towering over him like a dark goddess of judgment. "Henry, look at me. Really look. Do you see the woman you betrayed? The woman whose life you destroyed? The woman who now holds your fate?" Henry's lips trembled. I see. I'm sorry." Vivienne's smile hardened, cruel and merciless. Sorry doesn't undo betrayal, Henry. It doesn't erase the pain, and it certainly doesn't save your life." Lightning flashed, illuminating the terror in Henry's eyes and the deadly calm in Vivienne's. The storm outside roared as if echoing the chaos within the mansion. Henry sank to the floor again, gasping for breath. His mind spun with images of the stew, of Vivienne, of the stranger, and of the shadows moving silently in the dark. Fear consumed him. Vivienne knelt beside him, voice soft, deadly. "Do you understand now, Henry? This is what betrayal feels like, and the night is far from over." And somewhere in the shadows upstairs, another figure moved silently, unseen, waiting for the right moment to strike. The house was alive with tension, fear, and betrayal. And for Henry, there was no escape. The storm outside reached a fever pitch. Lightning split the sky, casting jagged shadows across the mansion, and thunder rolled like the drumbeat of an approaching execution. Inside, Henry trembled on the floor. every muscle tense, every nerve screaming for escape that didn't exist. Vivienne stood above him, calm, radiant, and terrifying. Her dark skin gleamed in the flickering candlelight, and her eyes were like obsidian mirrors reflecting all of Henry's fear. Every step she took echoed with authority. "Henry," she said softly, voice almost seductive in its coldness, "do you finally understand?" Henry shook his head violently, tears streaking down his face. "No, please. I can make things right. Just don't." "Don't?" Vivienne's lips curved into a faint, cruel smile. "Don't? Henry, it's too late for that. You've already chosen your path. You've betrayed me, humiliated me, and destroyed the life we built. Every bite of that stew, every moment of this night has been a lesson for you. And now, the final lesson begins." Henry's eyes darted toward the simmering pot. The smell of the stew was intoxicating, rich, and deadly. He realized with horror that he still didn't know how much of it was poisoned. Panic twisted his stomach. "Viv, please. Mercy. Please. I'll do anything. Anything," he begged, his voice cracking. Vivienne crouched so close that he could feel her breath on his face. "Anything, Henry? There's only one thing you can do now. Face your betrayal. Face the consequences of your lies. Face me." Lightning flashed, illuminating the stranger in the corner, his presence a silent, threatening reminder that Henry had no allies left. Henry scrambled backward, his back hitting the cold marble wall. I'll do anything. Just don't kill me." Vivienne's smile hardened. "Kill you? No, Henry. I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to teach you, to make you understand what it feels like when trust is shattered, when love is twisted into poison, when every second of your life is dictated by fear." A sudden crash from upstairs made Henry jump violently. Shadows moved across the landing. Something or someone was waiting, watching. Henry's panic escalated. "Viv, what's happening upstairs? Who's there?" Vivienne's eyes glinted with satisfaction. "That is your past catching up to you. Every lie, every betrayal, every secret, it's all alive tonight, and it's hungry for reckoning." Henry stumbled toward the door, desperate to escape, but the stranger blocked him, arms crossed, unyielding. "Where do you think you're going, Henry? There's no escape. None. Not from her, not from yourself." Henry fell to his knees again, gasping for air. His mind spun with fear, regret, and despair. The stew, the poisoned stew, was now a symbol of everything he had destroyed. His marriage, his life, his peace of mind. Vivienne knelt beside him, voice soft, deadly. "Do you understand, Henry? This is the cost of betrayal. This is the price of dishonesty, of greed, of affairs, of lies. Every lie you told me, every lie you told yourself, it all ends tonight." Henry's body shook violently. "Viv, I'm sorry. I'll do anything. Just please." Vivienne's smile widened slightly, cruel and merciless. "Sorry doesn't save you, Henry. Only truth, only acceptance, only facing the consequences does that." She reached out, lifting a spoon from the simmering pot. The rich aroma of the stew filled the room, thick, heavy, intoxicating. Henry's eyes widened in terror. "You're going to taste it again," she said softly, her voice a hypnotic whisper, "and with each bite, you'll understand." Henry's hands shook as she guided the spoon toward him. He closed his eyes, swallowing the bitter liquid. Panic surged through his veins. Every muscle screamed to flee. Every instinct to survive screamed in terror, but he couldn't move. Suddenly, another scream erupted from upstairs. The mansion seemed to pulse with danger, the storm outside echoing the chaos inside. Shadows moved along the walls. The air was thick with fear and anticipation. Henry gagged, clutching his stomach. The poison, or the fear of it, was working. His vision blurred. Sweat drenched him. Vivienne knelt closer, her eyes locked on his. "Feel it, Henry. Every second, every drop. Every lie you told me. Every secret, every betrayal. Tonight, you finally understand what it is to lose control, to be powerless, to face justice." Henry's knees buckled. Tears streaked his face. "Viv, please, I can't." Vivienne's smile was merciless. "No, Henry, you can. You just have to accept it." From the shadows upstairs, movement flickered again, another crash, another scream. Henry realized in horror that he was not alone. The mansion itself seemed alive with judgment, with vengeance. Vivienne stood slowly, towering over him like a goddess of wrath. This is what betrayal feels like, Henry, and it's only the beginning. Your reckoning, your fear, your punishment, it all ends tonight. Henry sank to the floor, trembling, completely broken. His mind was a whirlwind of terror and regret. The stew, the storm, Vivienne's dark, commanding presence, it all pressed down on him like a living nightmare. Lightning flashed one last time, illuminating the horror, the fear, and the inevitability of his fate. And then, silence. The storm began to wane, but the mansion remained alive with shadows and secrets. Henry lay broken, trembling, finally understanding the devastating power of betrayal, revenge, and a wife scorned. Vivienne looked down at him one final time, her dark eyes calm, satisfied, merciless. Remember this, Henry. Remember every moment of fear, every bite of betrayal, every second of regret. Let it follow you for the rest of your life. Henry could only nod weakly, unable to speak. The lesson was complete. The revenge, finished. The mansion grew quiet, but the echoes of that night, the poison, the fear, the betrayal, would linger forever. What did you learn from this story? Betrayal has consequences. Revenge can be cold, calculated, and devastating. Trust is fragile, and one lie can change everything. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to follow more thrilling, emotional stories like this.